This is Morning Express, and thank you for joining us and staying with us. And your tweets are coming in fast and furious, giving me your favorite colors. If you're able to take a picture of your handwriting, that would also help us, because the gentleman I have with me on our Friday chat this morning is none other than Mark. And Mark is a personality coach. So welcome into the studio, Mark. Great to have you. And let me first of all, for the sake of myself and others out there, what is a personality coach?
A personality coach is a skilled individual who makes you know what you're good at and what you're good for. So basically, he guides you, letting you know that you give 75% of your uniqueness. So it's about identifying your uniqueness and where it's meant to excel.
Would you say that majority of us actually excel or are giving out that 75% already?
Certainly not. And this is quite discouraging, because we have about 98% of people who are nervous about their potential.
They're nervous about their potential.
That's a scary figure. That means we are either trapped in circumstances where we deliver who we are not. It means that you can have a platform within your liking, within your gifting, but you do not know what to deliver. So it's a huge statistic to say, and viewers today will be intrigued to know what actually they are good at and what they're good for. Okay.
Now, you've mentioned, or you told me earlier, that there are several ways you're able to identify these areas that somebody is gifted in and is able to excel in that. What are some of those?
This is amazing, because your top 5 colors can give us a clue to your gifting. How you walk, how you talk, how you reason.
Now wait, when you say top 5 colors, do you mean blue, yellow, green, or do you mean top 5 things?
Top 5 colors.
Colors as in
blue, green, yellow. All this give us a clue to your gifting, and by that I mean a psychological impact, because it guides us to your interest. In fact, one page says a lot about you. Your handwriting encompasses about 99% of your reasoning, your thinking, and even a possibility of even predicting your belief system.
99%.
99%.
Whoa,
which makes this a really reliable personal resource, as opposed to body language, because people can change with time, people can adjust. But handwriting rarely changes with time. Since the moment you learned the first alphabet, and you started constructing sentences, all this is a greater personal resource that I want you to know today.
Okay. How are you able to tell somebody's personality through their handwriting?
It's interesting, because it's a gifting.
A gifting that you have.
A gifting.
Do you have to go to school to learn that?
Certainly not.
Okay.
And by that I mean a God-given gift. We all of us are deposits, unique deposits, with God-given gifts. And by that, this is how it started for me. Actually, people used to meet me and let me know what they're going through, and I will give them possibilities of what their handwriting says about them and their natural inclinations. And I had to be mentored through, not ruling out the study in itself, because I had to learn also about a bit about personality and more about knowing sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric, and all these are Myers-Briggs ways of explaining who we are. So majority of it is a gifting.
Okay. Now let's go to the handwriting.
Right.
And I know Solo gave us writing here.
Right.
And I'm curious to know, because when he was walking out, he said that, man, that guy is spot on. And what does his handwriting say, or what does this tell us?
Handwriting, first and foremost.
And I don't know if you're able to zoom in on this so that the viewer at home can see Solo's handwriting. It's this one. Hey, make sure you hide mine. I don't want mine to be seen for now. So it's that one there.
Now, Mr. Mike, handwriting contains about 26 characteristics about you.
Okay.
From the size, from whether it's slanting to the right, to the left, and actually the pressure you apply on the paper. Now, this means, you see, the M is quite pointy right here, and the A is quite closed in. The R and the K are a bit spaced out. We have a very tough negotiator here, which means his tone is likely to be very direct and very precise. People prefer him when he's actually more enlightened, as opposed, because when he's really angry, he's run for your life. He can be quite direct with you. But otherwise, on the positive side of things, he's a negotiator when it comes to his leadership style.
Wow. And you just got that from him writing, Mark?
For him writing, walking, and other abilities too.
Okay, let me go now to my handwriting, because wow, this is now Whew, this is putting myself on the spot, but there you go. What does this, and be careful, because right. You're in my studio right now, so I would be very careful with my wife if I were you. Yes, so what does...
This is what is confidential. I'll share that with you a little bit later.
You can already get confidential from this?
Absolutely.
I don't like this guy.
There are about 5 things, because you can see the TW and the 1 there. You have also the linings in between, but you can see the handwriting is slanted to the right. We have a lot of emotional control with you. You're very direct, you're very well paced, you're a good communicator and very efficient. You love things that are strategic and well placed. You're actually irritated by people who are not long-term thinkers.
Wow.
And this points out strongly about you. So people come to you to solve things because they love how you handle their worth.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. I can see Charity there, the makeup artist. She's saying tick, tick, tick. You'll tell me the confidential later.
Absolutely.
But how do you do that? Is that something that, I mean, what makes you come up with that? How? Is it the way my the what do we call it, the cursive handwriting, or what is it?
Strongly, it does incline to about 8% of where your handwriting is slanting. But more so, I've come to realize that all about us is actually trapped, because handwriting, a piece of paper means a lot to me. And actually talks about even your parenting style. It's actually talking about your relationship style.
Tell me about parenting, because that one I know, if you get it wrong, man, many people will tell me about parenting style.
Now this first of all is the compatibility factor with your wife, and that again either strengthens one attribute about you or lowers it. Which means whether you have daughters, they would find a really strong dad in you, because you know how to manage people's worth. If it's a son, you're very direct with them. The only challenge you'd have is not to come out as an investigative parent, as you're trying to reach out in identifying who they really are. So some may be laid back because they find you a bit investigative, but because of your choice of color and your style of handwriting, your tone of voice is quite lowered, which actually strengthens out and people feel you really understand them. So you have a thin line between coming out as someone who's concerned or investigative.
Okay, let's now move on to colors. How do you, there's an article I read some time ago, and I don't know if this is what advises what you have to say, that certain colors mean certain things. Is that true?
That is correct. It is true.
Okay.
Colors contribute about 8 to 20% about your interest and desires. Which means if you're inclined to love red, I know it's a color of strength, your handshake is likely to be quite direct and very firm handshake. Your eye contact is quite direct. If you're inclined to blue, which means it's a very intelligent color, it's a color of intelligence and a color of also efficiency. If it's orange, it's a color of resourcefulness, and your eye contact is likely to be friendly, as opposed, you're likely to have a softened eye expression as opposed to a fixed eye expression. You know, the people who have a direct look, they're fixated on you, and the people who have a friendly softened eye expression. So colors, your choice of color comes up with your psychological attribute. It gives us a hint between 8 to 20%, which is quite big, and that's how I'm able to tell your preference.
Now that we had promised some people out there, let me just give you a few, and maybe you see what we gather out of that. Mercy Abigail says her favorite color is black, white, and blue.
Mercy,
black, white, and blue.
Mercy, now your choice of color being black, white, and blue. You're quite secretive. You're quite laid back, and people have noted that this only
that's your talk to Mercy from that camera right there. Yeah.
That comes out strongly when you are around social settings, which means if you have people who really understand you, they bring out the best in you. So you're quite laid back, but as opposed to that, you're quite friendly. If people reach out to you, you're actually a trustworthy person, but that's what you really hide. So if I'm to give you a fruit, you are coconut. Hard on the outside, soft in the inside.
Wow, coconut. Mercy, is that Mercy? Yes, that's Mercy. If you're a coconut, please let us know. Tweet it back. There's also Patrick who has sent his handwriting. Let's see. Here is Patrick's handwriting. What do you gather from Patrick's handwriting?
Mr. Patrick, if you need to know this about your brain, you actually use the logical part of your brain, which means you're very, very categorical.
Let me see if I can try and get, as you're telling Patrick, let me see if I can try and get the handwriting on my iPad, which will be a bigger picture. Then continue talking to Patrick.
Your handwriting is closely packed, which means you have issues when it comes to trust and loyalty. That does not mean that you do not have these cherished attributes. You do have them. But the question is, whom do you trust? Whom do you get loyal with? So you are a very logical person, I beg your pardon, and most interesting, you're interested with long-term ideas, long-term thinking. You're quite sketchy, I can see that. The only challenge is when you begin something, you do not see it to its end, which makes you a creative person, which makes you work or excel more strongly in creative careers. That means you begin so many things at the same time, but do not actually stick around to its fulfillment. So what we need is to get you cornered to one desire, a progressive desire to the next. As I see you as a very creative person and quite logical. That's a great healthy blend, Mr. Patrick.
Wow. Okay, so that's Patrick's handwriting there. Let me see if we have somebody else who, and by the way, if you feel he's telling the truth, let me know. If you feel he's just taking us for a ride, let me know and I can get him out of the studio like ASAP. Let me see, there's also Otis. Otis, my favorite color is blue. Let me see if we have his handwriting, because I can see he has attached something, but his favorite color is blue. You mentioned that blue is also
an intelligent color.
What does blue tell us?
Blue tells us about your intelligence, and it tells us also about your efficiency. So it's a very vibrant color.
That's his handwriting right there.
A free-spirited color. That means when it comes to demand, you do not work well when you understand that there are restrictions around you. That's what I mean by free-spirited.
That's his handwriting right there.
Again?
Sorry?
What did you say his name is?
I think this is, let me just get the name for you as we get that. This is Otis. Otis mwenyewe.
All right.
Let me get it back for you right there. There you go.
Otis, you have a very strong attribute when it comes to concentration. You are really slow-paced when it comes to negotiation. You do not love conflict, and this is one strong attribute in you. You're likely to be laid back and avoid, in purpose, you avoid leadership positions. Though you may have leadership attributes in you, people around you strongly feel that you can excel in leadership, but you actually take a back seat, which should concern you. Though you're quite systematic in what you do, you're quite meticulous also in what you do, I say it's time to step it up because you have the quality that it takes.
Okay, let's just do one more, and this one now is people who are actually here in this studio.
That would be awesome.
So I'd again advise you to be cautious with what you say, but there you go. I think that is Arnold Koinange, right? Arnold
Karanja?
Karanja, yes, and
yes.
We're going to flip it there, but you study it as you tell us about Arnold, and then I'll show you to the viewer at home.
Okay, Mr. Arnold Karanja Kimani, you have thin lettered handwriting, which makes you to be quite meticulous, and you're one of the most acute thinkers that we have around. You're likely to have lots of ideas placed each and every place. You're quite systematic. You actually walk fast with short steps. That's an interesting factor about you. And as opposed to that, you're a creative thinker. You're actually a logistical kind of thinking. In you have that kind of attribute, and the reason I'm giving this variation is because there's a difference between attitude and a mindset. Your mindset is bringing out the best in people. Actually, I can point out two careers that you could fit in. The one currently that you could be doing, but one more about empowering, and that's strong about you, Mr. Arnold.
And Arnold has asked, what's my secret? Can you tell what's his secret?
Maybe if you rephrase the question, in secret you mean leadership style, work style, you mean relationship style? If you mean work style, you come out strongly as a stabilizer. You love being in charge where matters arise. And if you're talking about relationship style, then this means you're quite strategic about what you go forward to. And as I'm told, let me be confidential about that. I could meet you in person.
Okay, well, somebody says yes, spot on. Who would have known? Spot on parenting. I guess that's somebody who knows me, and spot on advice. So I guess please do let us know if what so he has given us so far helps. But now coming back to the crux of the matter, Mark, why is it that people end up doing what they're not comfortable to do, yet they are uniquely gifted?
That's a very important question. Unfortunately, 99% of our learning institutions do not, I repeat, do not teach body language in relation to your career. That should concern you. Which means people know where to excel a little bit late. Now, look at what I'm taking people through colors and handwriting. You should be knowing this by age 3.
What, this information? This information,
and by age 3, I do not mean that's when you should be actually identifying what you're good at and what you're good for. But the parents in charge, the guardians in charge, should have been in a position to know if, let's say, if you love, and I gave a demonstration this one time, if you love putting things in order, placing things in order, you're good for managerial careers. If you love flipping things and making things, you're good for the School of Engineering. If you love appreciating beauty and checking out latest trends, you're good for cosmetology sciences and design.
Are there people who are good in disordering things? You've talked about putting things in order. Are there people who are just good at disorganizing things? My sons, I hope they're watching.
This is a misplaced gifting. I believe each and every person should excel in about 2 to 3 to 4 careers. And that's the challenge you have when you have a misplaced gifting. And that should concern each and every one of us.
When you say misplaced, what do you mean?
And when I talk about misplaced gifting, let's say you're known to be a critic, and people around you dry up because you don't impart their worth.
Correct.
This is misplaced. You should be empowering people. You should be bringing out the best.
So you could still be a critic, but in the right way.
In fact, there's a difference between criticism and correction. When we say you're a critic, and I know it's taken differently, but you should be aware what criticism does to people. It breaks down people. And I do not mean we shouldn't understand, because someone who focuses with criticism has no vision for you. They basically point out where they feel you should go. And that's the difference between correction. Correction, someone has a vision for you. Basically, there's where you are and there's where you need to be. So I correct you. Why? Because I want you to increase in worth. When it comes to criticism, I have no vision for you. Mr. Mike, I do not empower you to excel within your gifting. And that's why, let's pick, and I love giving this example. A camel can survive most parts of the land, but its identified area of excellence is in the desert. We know the fish, it's in the sea. It's one thing to know your gifting, and it's another to know where to excel.
Okay, one of the things that you mentioned that helps you identify, and when I say you, I don't mean me as Mark, but even you at home, identify the area of your gifting you mentioned is the things that irritate you.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
And this is interesting, and I just pointed out, if lack of order irritates you, then you have a gifting when it comes to managerial. Just like we say lawyers solve legal problems, dentists solve dental problems. What's the problem you are solving? When I look around, there are about 18 careers here. When it comes to lighting, when it comes to miking, when it comes to cosmetology, when it comes to music with DJ Genius. Basically, we are designed to be problem solvers. So my question to you this morning is, whose world are you willing to change? Because that should be the motivation as we look into these things. So what irritates you gives us a clue to what you can excel in. For instance, what irritates me is people not knowing their purpose.
So you're designed to help those people find their purpose?
I'm designed to help people identify their personal brand. I'm designed to help people identify which areas they can excel in. I want you to know what kind of gifting lies within you, because we have no substitute for you, and that should concern you. You're designed to be of great influence. We cannot have your unique deposit with someone else. And that's why I'm motivated to do what I really do. Because I want you to know, since age 3 to how old you are, that's how raw your gifting is.
All right, as we wind up, because time is up, it's almost up, maybe to the parents, because you've talked about age 3, and obviously an age 3 child may not be in control of the environment and may want to be shaped a different way by their parent. How does a parent help that child to actually dwell in their gifting and now identify that? Because you don't know, they might be irritated by the fact that their food comes late, but you'll not know. You think they're crying because they're wet.
Well, maybe just to put it on a light note, we are all leaders in some things and followers in other things. And the concern here is not only parents, but also someone in a position of influence, which concerns each and every person. But now, since you asked me about parents, there are things that kids do that entirely talk about where they can excel. Not everything is an irritation. Not everything needs to be cooled down or calmed down. We need to look at the alternative of things. What is it that you're gifted at? I guarantee you that 80% of people are doing a career transition as we speak. That means we have people who know they are unique, but where's the unique preparation? If we know we are unique, then where's the unique preparation? So my concern to you is, before you become hard on yourself, know your gifting, know your area of excellence.
All right, Mark, it's been a pleasure. Unfortunately, we can't answer. I have so many handwritings coming in here.
Right.
Maybe you'll teach me, then I can also, and you know, that can be my side hustle, and give a bit of advice right there. But maybe should somebody want to find you, or maybe your Twitter handle, or how do they get in touch with you?
Get in touch with me currently with my Facebook. That is Mark Mbogwa. I'm currently rebranding, so if we catch up in Facebook, I can now let you know about Twitter handle and my website, which is
Mark Mbogwa.
Mark Mbogwa.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's been a pleasure hosting you. Well, that's where we're going to wind it up this morning, and let me take this opportunity to thank all our viewers this week and all week and always for watching Morning Express.